Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Queer Channel. This is Shane Phoenix reporting live from Fort Lauderdale, Florida, where we just found out that Ray Boltz is the winner of three huge awards. Album of the Year you get, and you also get the Songwriter of the Year and Spiritual Song of the Year. So tell us, what does that feel like?
Well, it feels wonderful. I mean, to go through what I've gone through coming out, and, you know, I've got a lot of new fans. I played in gay churches, pride festivals all over America. But there's been a lot of rejection from my old fans and from people that feel like I've made a decision that I can't love God, and they've rejected, and that's their right to do so. But to be affirmed in this way by the gay community and say, we appreciate your music, we appreciate your songwriting and your album that we worked so hard on. It's really overwhelming. I'm thrilled.
And now also some big props go out to good friends of yours, JoJo Hogue and Shawnee P. from Hit Play Productions. They helped produce this CD for you. By the way, the CD, if you want, in case you're interested, is called True, and it's available on your website at www.rayboltz.com. That's RAYBOLTZ.com. So tell us about working with JoJo and Shawnee.
Well, it's great. I mean, JoJo Ho and Shawnee P. are great people. They're great musicians. They have a studio in Burbank, California, and I went out there and spent as much time as I wanted and wrote with them and created. And I'm just thrilled. It's just one of the best records I've ever made, and very, very natural, and it just feels good when you put it on. And it's because of them. They bring it to producers really help an artist take it to the next level and make something that achieves our goals of communicating, but really moving people's hearts and being musically excellent. And they just brought it up so much. So I'm very, very grateful to them. Now,
you were while you were over there in California, you went to Long Beach Pride, where JoJo and Shawnee just performed over there as Hit Play, the group. Tell me, you also did the video to the song, which was Spiritual Song of the Year, and of course, Don't Tell Me Who to Love, off the True album. So what was that like, being there, getting the footage, and being part of a Pride event as big as that?
Well, I got to participate in a number of Pride events in New York City. I was in that one later on after Long Beach, but Long Beach was the first one that was really attended by thousands of people along the parade route. And talk about affirming. I mean, everybody's cheering and waving flags, and families and gay couples and straight couples, and it was just such an uplifting experience to see what life could be like if everybody just accepted one another and loved one another. And riding in the parade route was overwhelming. And then later on, I got the chance to look at all the footage that we had shot, and the people were so interesting and colorful. I'll never forget that experience. It was great.
Yeah, and you can check that video out on Ray's website as well as on YouTube. Just Google or YouTube Ray Boltz, and you can see it. It's a wonderful video as well as wonderful participation. So later on, you got to go to New York City and go in that Pride Parade. I know because we were there, and you and your partner Franco were up on top of a fire truck riding down Fifth Avenue in New York City Pride. Did you ever think in your wildest days, back when you were in Christian music and doing all that you would ever find yourself in that position doing what you were doing that day?
Absolutely not. I mean, I never thought that I would be in a Pride Parade. I never thought that I would be out and be able to live an authentic life. But riding through that parade, again, it was just affirmation, a feeling of just what life can be like if people love one another and accept one another for who they are, and not try to fit everybody into the same box. And it was just a beautiful experience. And you and your partner Rick were right behind me and Franco up on top of that fire truck. And I gotta tell you, it was an incredible moment to see all those people. I'll never forget it. Fifth Avenue, Christopher Street,
ducking down the tree branches, you know.
It's unbelievable, and it's just a great experience.
Well, there was lots of compliments, as well as you still get a lot of ugly comments too. How do you feel with all of these? Because surely you're going to be getting a lot of recognition now with the Album of the Year and all these accolades. Tell me, and tell our viewers, what is it like when you have to go through some of the comments that were made, and where do you look to for the strength to make it through all of those negative comments that we've seen in the media and in newspapers and on the websites and blogs all across the world? Where do you find that strength to go, you know what, that's their opinion, I can move on? Where does that come from?
Well, okay, we just mentioned Pride in New York City, and the first Pride parade was after Stonewall riots took place, and they said I just watched a documentary on it, they said they were hoping for 10 people to walk in the parade. Thousands of people showed up, and it takes people standing up when it's not a popular thing to really move culture down the road. And I stood up because I was in a place that I'd come out to my family, and they had all accepted me. My former wife Carol is on the board of directors for Soul Force, a gay rights organization. My kids all love me. They accepted me, so I wasn't really too worried when I got 20,000 emails from people that said, you know, you're going to hell and you're a traitor and we hate you. And but there were a lot of people that are just basically concerned too, that were confused by it. And it took me 30 years to come to the understanding and acceptance of who I was. So how can I expect my fans who only know me through buying a CD or watching a video to suddenly go, oh, he's gay, that's okay now? They can have as much time as they need, but it's important for me to stand up just so that other young people know there's another voice. When they hear that voice that says you need to be someone you're not, there's something wrong with you, you're a monster, you're deformed, you're defective, I want them to hear another voice that says, no, you're not, you're fine just the way you are. When they hear that voice that says, if you just pray this prayer, it's all going to go away, it's going to change, and you'll be completely new and free from all this. Right. I want them to know that I did that for over 30 years, and it didn't work. And that makes people mad when you say that, but it's just the truth. It's just being true to who you are and true to what I believe.
Yeah, I remember Rick and I were sitting here, speaking of true, we were sitting at your home there in Fort Lauderdale, Florida, and we were all sitting around listening to this new music you were creating, and we were very honored to be some of the first to even hear that music. And I remember sitting around in the discussion about the CD's title, and you were so, like, oh, well, I don't know, maybe this, maybe that. So True was the label that ended up being on the CD. And tell us, does that have the reflection of what you went through, your coming out process? Is that the reason for the name of the album? I mean, it's Album of the Year now. You got to let them know what the album title means.
Well, you and Rick were some of the first people that heard the new music, and it was so great to be able to bounce these songs off of my friends and let them hear them. And yeah, True, it's not just a coming out story. It's just I write from where I'm at, from what I feel in my heart, and I'm trying to be honest. I'm not saying I'm 100% right on everything I say and do. All I can say is I'm being honest. This is how I feel, and that's what this whole record is about. And when I made all the other records, I feel like I was true at that point as well. I believed that I could change, and that if I just prayed hard enough, this would all go away. And when I wrote songs about trying to change, which there are many on my old records that share about the struggle, I never named it as being about being gay, but they were honest. That was where I was at. So this album, I knew it would upset some people, but it's just the truth. It's my truth. So I'm not saying everybody has to believe it or accept it or like it, but a lot of people have, and my gosh, to be nominated and win for Album of the Year is just an amazing affirmation that good things happen when you're true to yourself and when you try to live an authentic life.
Yeah, and I have to being authentic and being true, I have a little honesty to tell you. When I was asked from the Out Music Awards people to present Album of the Year, I was kind of, it wasn't blatantly told to me, but I was hinted towards the knowledge that you were going to be the winner of that, and I was so excited. Unfortunately, neither one of us could make it up there for it, but it's an amazing award. I couldn't think of anybody on that list that deserved it more than you. So Songwriter of the Year. Now, a lot of people don't realize all the work. I mean, the length of time it takes to write just one single song, let alone something like a song of the year. What was the process as you were writing Don't Tell Me Who to Love and all the different songs that are on the True CD? What was it like sitting there reflecting upon some of the pain? Like, you know, one of the songs of Don't Tell Me Who to Love starts off with reflections of the civil rights movement, starts off with judges saying, no, you can't do that. And you were actually alive and in that time and witnessed all these horrific events going on. So when you're sitting there now, as in today, like, you know, 3 years ago when you started writing this CD, what was it like to have to visit those memories? Did you find yourself crying at times? Did you find yourself laughing at times? Did you relive the emotional part of it as well as the visual part of it in your memories?
Well, yeah, the songwriter nomination and award, it just blows me away. I mean, that's what I love to do, is write music, is create songs. And I didn't, when I started this record, I had no label. Now it's on iTunes, it's on Amazon, it's on our website. When I started writing, I had none of that, no promise that it would ever be heard by anybody. But I wrote because it's what I do and it's what's in my heart, you know, and it's just, it helps me. And so, yeah, a lot of the things, there were serious moments that I had tears in my eyes, and when I thought about the Loving versus Virginia case, and here's a black woman and a white man that are married legally in D.C., and then they go to Virginia and they're arrested in the middle of the night with their wedding certificate over their bed, and they come in and arrest them, take them to jail, and you know, threaten to sentence them to years and years in prison. Yeah, that was very emotional. But there's also some funny things, you know, like there's a song called American Queen that I wrote about since living in Fort Lauderdale, walking down the streets of Wilton Drive, and the flamboyant characters in this city, and of course it were the Queens that stood up at Stonewall. They were the first ones that fought back, and so I'm not making fun of them. I'm honoring them, right. But it's kind of funny. So I did laugh, and hopefully the album takes people on a journey through several different emotions.
So now, what's next? Is there another CD currently in the works already? Have you been writing any more? Have you just been kind of trying to take it easy, or tell us all the good stuff that nobody knows about yet?
Well, I'm not going to give away too much. There's definitely more songs that I've been writing, and I got the chance to play in all these Pride events, and I got the chance to play in affirming in gay churches like the MCC Church, and so yeah, I'm continuing to write and kick around some video ideas, you know, to make some more music videos, and
we know who he's going to call for that, right?
Yeah, right. And so yeah, it's like last year I toured. I went all the time, went from Alaska to Acapulco to anywhere that we could go to promote the new record. This year it slowed down a little bit. Unfortunately, it picked back up right at the time they rescheduled the Out Music Awards so I wasn't able to attend the award show. But yeah, there'll be more touring and hopefully another record, and I know for sure I'll keep writing. And
now, I've been talking to a few of our friends, of course, in the media, and all of them are now, want to clamor and get the attention and get the reviews and, get the quotes and so on and so forth from you. But there's been a lot of media attention that was kind of negative towards you out there, and you found the strength in yourself to kind of block out, even though they said negative things and stuff like that, block that out and still talk to them and still give them the positive reinforcement of the person that we know as Ray. My friend Ray is somebody that's a positive, reinforcing personality. How do you do that, knowing what they say on the other side?
Well, I don't do many interviews with fundamentalist Christian, magazines or blogs or whatever. I'm not saying I wouldn't, But yeah, there's people that said a lot of things, but it's like I said, it took me 30 years to deal with this. I might have said the same things that they're saying 25 years ago. You know, I might have said, well, you just got to pray harder. You know, I got an email the other day, you know, you just didn't try hard enough. You know, there's a song on the album that says, God knows I tried. Right. And this person just said, well, it's obvious, you know, you just didn't try hard enough. You need to try harder to not be gay. Well, you know what? I can't prove it to them. That's why I wrote the song, God knows I tried. I know in my own heart how hard I tried. God knows how hard I tried, and this is where I am right now. Right. So with that kind of an attitude, I don't have to run around and try to correct what they say or argue with them. All I have to do is, the best thing you can do is be authentic and live your life as the person that you are. And again, going back to the Loving versus Virginia case, I read a quote by Mrs. Loving, and she said that when they went through this, they did not want to be civil rights leaders. They were just two kids that loved each other, that wanted to be married, who wanted to live their life. And that's exactly my belief, is if you do that and you try to pursue living an authentic life, it's all going to work out, and it's going to impact society. So I don't have to argue with all these people.
Right. So now, last question for you. There's a song that people have been, I would say, blessed to hear that you sing when you're out on tour and in front of audiences, but isn't on the CD. And one of the big people in your life, Franco, cries every time that we see it. You know,
it's on the CD.
The true CD, it's on there, yes. Okay. But what I'm saying is that when you were first putting that CD together, it wasn't going to be on there. And so, what made you change your mind about not putting it on there to putting it on there? And do you always find yourself, only because we've seen you many of times, do you ever find yourself still crying when you sing it on stage and look at him?
I don't have to cry when I sing on stage because he cries like a big baby. He's a big Italian, you know, softy with a great big heart, and yeah, the song makes him cry. It's a song that's called "You Came to Me," and it just talks about someone coming into your life and how much it means to you. And I wasn't going to put it on the album at first, and you know, it goes back to personal reasons with my life and my family, and I looked, but then they all met Franco and they love him, and I played the song for them and they love the song, and you know what, I just couldn't ask for anything more. I had the most wonderful family in the world. I have a great partner. I live in a great city in a great country, and it's changing.
So if you could say anything to like the campaigns for like it Gets Better campaign, marriage equality campaign, human rights campaign, all these different LGBT rights activist groups that are out there, they do a lot of, you know, preaching and you know, oh, they're saying these negative things. What would you say to your fans who listen to this CD, who will go out and buy it because they're watching this interview or they hear you on the radio? What would you say to them is the number one thing that you hope that they'll take away from the CD called True?
I hope they take away the fact that, okay, I know they'll take this away because I'm old. You know, I look at music today and I see all these teenagers and stuff, and it's great. I love it. I love Lady Gaga. I love the new music. I love all kinds of music, not just pop, not just folk, not just blues. But I hope they take away that this is a person with experience. I have 4 children. I have 5 grandchildren. I'm old, okay? It's like being Grandpa Walton or something, you know. But I hope they take away that this is a voice of someone who's lived, saying it does get better, saying we are changing. When Loving versus Virginia was decided in 1967 by the Supreme Court, and they were told you are married and no one can stop you from being married, they did a survey nationwide where they asked people if they thought that decision was correct, and 70% of the people they interviewed said no, the Supreme Court overstepped its bounds. It should not have done that. Well, if you went around today to churches or conservative areas all over the country and said, do you think it's wrong or it's right for a person of color to marry someone? You know, my son-in-law and my daughter is married to a young man from Nepal. So he's from a different country, so they could have said it was wrong for him to be married to my daughter. And I have the most beautiful grandchildren in the world, you know. But the point is, when they said that to those people, if you went around today and asked churches and people that, they'd say, well, no, it's fine. Everybody knows people that are mixed races, and we even have a president that's the product of a mixed marriage. Right. It's like we've come so far. That's what experience brings in this record, I think, a little bit, is I can tell you things are changing. From the days when I grew up, when I never even heard of a gay person, I didn't know anybody that was gay. There certainly was nobody gay in the media or on television or in movies.
At least not that was out.
Not that was out. No one lived an open life.
Right.
It's changing, and so it does get better, and I hope this album reflects that hope and that truth. And it takes time, so we have to be patient.
Well, everybody, this has been Shane Phoenix with the wonderful Mr. Ray Boltz here on Queer Channel. We appreciate everybody for tuning in, and we'll see you next time. Don't forget, please visit his website at www.rayboltz.com. His self-entitled soundtrack, not self-entitled, but entitled True CD. Yeah, he titled it himself. That's what it was. True is available on iTunes, Amazon.com, as well as your website. So head on over there and pick up a copy today and see why Mr. Ray Boltz is the fantastic and amazing artist that he is. Thank you so much for being on the show.
Thank you, Shane. It's great to be with you.
Everybody, this is Shane Phoenix, and this has been Sound Off. We'll see you next week.